Tara Lynn with 5 Acres Honey Farm. I am going to give you an update on the apple trees now that it's spring, and I'll link to the video where I planted these last fall. I've got 9 heirloom apple trees here that are known to be resistant to apple cedar rust, which is a spore that can establish itself on apple tree leaves, and then it kind of stunts their growth and doesn't let them really mature in the healthiest way possible. So one of the things that I'm doing with its first spring here is that I read that it's really beneficial to spray the leaves with neem oil every week in the spring, primarily in April in my area here in North Carolina, because that's when the cedar trees are releasing their spores, and it just helps prevent those spores from actually establishing on the leaves. And then pretty much the rest of the year they should be fine on their own. So that's something that I'll be doing shortly. Okay, it's later in the day now, and it's about 20-25 minutes until sunset, and I got this is the neem oil, and according to the instructions, about 2 tablespoons of neem oil per gallon. And so I did some math, and a gallon is 128 ounces, and 2 tablespoons is 1 ounce. So I had purchased a container when I got the neem oil, and this container holds 32 ounces, which is 1/4 of a gallon. So I put in a 1/2 tablespoon, which is 1/4 of an ounce of the neem oil. And neem oil is toxic to insects, including bees. So you would not want to be applying it to any flowering plants. So my apple trees are just releasing their leaves right now, not their buds for the blossoms. So that's why very carefully timing the application of this, both at sunset and when there's no, and this carpenter bee is hanging out here, when there's no flowers in bloom. So let's head over there and apply it. All right, this is not the most complicated thing. I'm just making sure I'm getting both sides of the leaves. I already did all the other trees. This is the last one. And it's really nice that these leaves are just coming out. So once a week for the next month, I'm going to apply this to give it a good chance of growing. And I'm curious to see how these grow because they took a lot of time to get in here. I'll just give you a little peek at the label here if you're curious about, the brand and everything. And this was just found at a local feed store, and it has the instructions in here. They kind of give you an idea of what precautions to take, how to store it, and kind of wanted to show you is it on here? Yeah, so it does tell you it is a bee hazard, so you can't apply it when the bees are active in the area, so not during the day. And then the other thing in here is that it does specifically mention on here rust. So it is a approved application for it. Okay, I'm all done. One of the things that I did was I made sure I wore just a gloves or glove, since it's just singular, while I was spritzing this around, just if there's any spray on it, and there doesn't seem to be much on there, but it's just extra precaution just to keep out of contact with the diluted oil. And the other thing I wanted to mention was that while I was spraying the neem oil, I saw a spider catching a caterpillar, but I had already started spraying that tree, so I feel really bad because I don't think either of them are going to make it. It's kind of like the downside of using organic materials is that this particular substance, neem oil, is both a fungicide, so it's going to help prevent that cedar apple rust, but it's also a pesticide too. So it doesn't discriminate about what kinds of bugs. So it's just kind of something that I noticed made me really disappointed in using it, but it's kind of for the greater good for the production of those apple trees so that they are healthy and produce blossoms to help the other insects, so that over time, once they're established, I won't need to do this, and when more caterpillars come in the future, more spiders can come and help control them. But for now, if you have some success with managing cedar apple rust, I would love to hear about it. Or in general, if you're growing heirloom apples, I'd love to learn about the varieties of them. and I will share some more updates as the season continues.